Hi, welcome to my sewing room. I'm Leah,
I'm Chelsea.
and we had a Bernina new owners class for embroidery happening here in store today. So quite a mix of machines. I had a Bernina B79, two 880s, and a B790 Pro.
Oh, that's fantastic mix.
Right? It was lots of fun. So we got to play with some very high-end features and at least start to explore them. So we're here today to show you another thing the 790 Pro could do. So if you're on the hunt for a new machine, maybe this is the reason you need a 790 Pro.
It might be one of my favorite features.
It's one of my favorite features. Absolutely, for sure.
And off the top of my head, I can't think of any other sewing machine that could do this unless you have a Q20 with the Q-matic on it.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you could get this feature otherwise.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So that's pretty neat. It's like kind of like having a long arm on your sewing desk.
Yeah, and even if you did have a long arm, but you just wanted to do placemats, but you don't want to load your long arm, you do placemats this way, or mug mats.
Fantastic way to do it. Or table runners, or bags.
Or, a great big queen size quilt. You've got options.
Yeah, you could stuff a queen in there.
Yeah.
I think you could do it.
I think so too.
Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Exactly. So today we're going to be using the 790 Pro, and we've got a Bernina medium clamp hoop. The clamp hoop also comes in the small size, so depending where in the Bernina lineup your machine fits, you might be able to operate both or only one. And the really cool thing about the Bernina clamp hoop is it is marked like you want to center a quilt block.
Like this. It's kind of hard to see because you can see right through it.
Super hard to see.
But that means you can see your quilt behind it, which is fantastic.
Yes. So if we flip this over onto the top camera view, if you want to start practicing things like this, but you don't want to make a whole quilt, every once in a while there's pre-printed panels available.
Yeah. Cheater quilts?
Cheater quilts
are a really good way to practice techniques and get them under your belt. And all you're doing is spending time on actually doing that technique, not making a quilt top to play with the technique. And then, if you miss on a cheater quilt, it's like, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be totally fine. So this template has markings to center your quilts. So it does have that cross line, that nice X through there, so we can make sure this is all
nice and straight.
Nice and straight.
Straight as we can get it.
Yeah, the quiltable area on the 790 Pro is 8.5 inches this way by 8.25 inches this way. So you'll want to keep that in mind when you're picking your block sizes to quilt this way.
That's a lot of space.
It is a lot of space.
That's awesome.
And then rather than having like the ratchet type system that some of the other hoops have, or the screw that you have to do up, we're going to use clamps to actually hold this in place.
Beautiful.
So usually if you're wanting to hoop with this hoop, you're going to figure out where you want this template. Kind of close.
And the closer we get to center right now, the less work we're going to have to do moving it.
Yeah, but we're going to use the Morph feature, so it doesn't matter if we're real askew anyway.
It really doesn't matter. That's the best part.
Yep, so I am still going to aim to be fairly close to where I want to be. Beautiful. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my quilt over my template because I've done all this lovely marking and I would like it to stay there so that I can get this block.
Oh, that's some very precise holding. I'll put that down there for you.
Thanks.
And let me move these before we get them trapped.
And then that's all nicely folded and it fits right into that outer hoop.
Beautiful. So I need to start hooping this way. That was way more simple than my fighting with my quilt.
Right.
You made that look easy.
And then it's all still...
That's gorgeous. And it's flat. It's not wrinkly. I didn't lose my backing from my sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
So these clamps are going to go on. If you hold that template down nice and tight, you shouldn't warp the quilt at all as you do this.
Well, I learned probably 3 new things as you were doing this, so that's great.
We've only been live for 6 minutes.
I know, I learned a lot. We have a few friends on today.
We
I see we have someone from Bernina, Canada.
Oh, from Brother.
We have Ari from Brother. We have Robin. We have Anne.
Oh, and Bernina Canada's here.
Yeah, Bernina, Canada, and Ari from Brother are here. This is a
That's cool.
fantastic day. I'm having a good time.
Well, it does come with 12 little clips.
Yep, and you want to use all 12, right?
I would say probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, we don't want our quilt jumping out while it's halfway quilted.
Nope.
That wouldn't be a fun day. Oh, and we have our friend Chris on, too.
I put those ones too close to this edge and I can't get them all down.
You're doing a great job.
There we go. Now they're all in. Now we could keep the template on if we wanted, but the grid lines on the machine don't match up with this template.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
So my vote is that we just take that template off now.
Yep, and then I don't have to fight to get it out from underneath.
And we don't accidentally stitch through it.
Because that would be a rough day.
That would be very bad.
We would have a broken needle for sure.
Yep.
It's a very hard template.
Yes, it is. So we're going to slide this on. We're just going to do a quick double check to make... Oh, that's why I had so much trouble. We're just going to double check that I haven't caught backing fabric anywhere.
Oh, okay. That's a good double check. We don't want to stitch our backing to the back of our quilt.
Yeah.
That adds up.
That clip will go on much easier this time.
Yeah.
Oh, way
Much
easier.
That looked way easier.
Way easier. And then Chelsea's going to slide this onto the machine.
Okay.
And you're just going to have to wiggle.
Do you want me to reposition the camera so our friends can see how we're going to get that in?
Yeah.
We're pointing there right now.
Yeah, I was pointing at... Or we could build the thing on screen. No, we probably need the...
Yeah, we'll switch to this camera so I don't make anyone motion sick today. We don't need that.
I have to do a bit of camera moving because we need to show some stuff on screen too.
All right, I think we're in an appropriate spot.
Yep,
that's much better. Okay.
So you're just going to have to wiggle the foot past those big clamps because they're going to catch on the foot.
Where's my connectors? There they are. Okay. So I'm also going to make sure that as I'm doing this, I'm managing my backing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put this in after Leah did a beautiful job and then catch my backing.
It would be sad.
We don't want to do that.
No.
We want to spend more time sewing. So I just slid my foot right between my clamps there. If I find it easiest to kind of go at a 45.
And find a corner, yeah.
And find a corner. Because I find you get a little bit more space, and then I'm just going to flip up my batting. It'll be a little hard to see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to place my hoop onto my arm. And we are good to go. And, oop, lost a couple clips. That was me fiddling around over here.
And you could reclamp this right on the machine if you had your slide-on table on.
Yeah, totally could.
Yeah.
And sometimes quilting with your slide-on table, especially for quilts heavier, it's really nice for the support of your hoop.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
So
beautiful.
What we're going to aim to do is quilt this half square triangle block all with one design.
Awesome.
So we're going to just get Chelsea to rearrange the camera for a second again. Up to the screen.
I'm getting good at guessing where I'm pointing at.
Yep. So right now this is totally not what we want to quilt with. I was mucking around earlier in class today, so you're gonna go find the quilting folder on the machine. So folder up, arrow up to open new design. And
I think you're in it already.
Oh yeah, it was.
Let's go to the beginning breadcrumbs as I go too far.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it'll be in under the butterfly. And then the thing that looks like a quilted quilt block.
Or it could be a spider web.
Or a spider web, whatever way you want to think of it.
A fancy spider web.
The 790 Pro is able to read BQM files, which are actually Bernina long arm files. So they're the Qmatic files that run on the Bernina long arms.
Beautiful.
And they do not have stitch data assigned until you tell it what stitch length you want.
Ooh.
So these can grow up and down as much as you want.
Beautiful.
So if you wanted to fit this in the jumbo hoop or the maxi hoop, or you wanted to do it in a little 4x4 hoop, totally flexible. I think probably that second one in, there's like 8 pages of designs in here, so there's lots built in already.
Oh, that's a cute one.
But I think that'll work with some of the other ribbony quilting that's already on here.
Beautiful.
So that is selected, And the next thing
Okay.
you can do is go I for info. And we're going to use the morph feature. So if you scroll on that sidebar there, other direction, I was poking in there earlier. It's the same symbol as pinpoint placement if you're familiar with Bernina's pinpoint placement. If not, it's a little, that one,
It's the squiggly wiggly one.
where the square and the square is not quite
It's
square.
The,
Yeah.
it's the I want my square that's sitting over here to fit in that square.
Yeah. So the second option down there is the morph feature. So this is going to attach corner points to this design. It is a square design and it's a square-ish block. But I know from quilting the other panels in this block that this is not printed super square.
Well, we also probably didn't iron it to make it more square-ish.
No.
So now it's just kind of ish.
But if your piecing wasn't perfect, because that sometimes happens.
Because we're not robots.
Yeah.
It happens a lot with me, I know that.
Sometimes things are just not quite where you expected. So we can select any single one of those corner points.
Fantastic. Let's go for that one. Ooh, that was fun.
And then using your stitch length and stitch width knobs, you can scroll that over to right on top of the corner.
Okay. So it looks
However,
like
one more thing,
oh,
a little
one more
little bit
thing?
tricky to see. You could turn the laser light on.
Laser light. Beep. There, I got it. Then
That's
I don't.
definitely the sound laser lights make.
We know what sewing with Chelsea. We make noises. You should hear what happens when I'm at my house. If you think I'm shy now, I'm definitely not shy there.
So we've moved
All
that
right.
first corner into that first point. We can go and select that next corner. I do the same thing.
I really like that laser light.
Makes it really easy to see where you're going, doesn't it?
I think I need a laser light.
Like on your car? On your sewing machine?
On my sewing machine.
Well, the 790 Pro, you can sew with that laser light on as well.
Beautiful idea. There we go. So you're saying if I was trying to say sew to a specific point, I would know where I'm gonna land because
Yeah.
I'd have my little laser on.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. I really like this. It's really simple. Okay, there we go. I like that lineup. And we'll do our last point. I like how it's very intuitive as well because my stitch width knob is moving me on the horizontal axis.
Yeah.
And of course my length moves vertical.
Yeah.
I like that. If it was backwards, I would be very confused.
Me too.
Oh, upside down. There we go. Beautiful. Okay.
Okay.
Next step.
Now, if you X out of, well, we have one more option here. We could
Okay.
also turn on like, don't quilt right to the edge of this thing. So that,
That's this 0-inch
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. So
Oh,
we could,
fantastic. That's cool.
like, quilt an 1/8 inch away. That's probably how I would go.
I like that because then it's not going to wind up right to the edges. So then it's not super tucked in there. I like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you could X out of this screen. And then we are ready to take this to the actual embroidery screen. So needle ... will get you to the embroidery screen.
It's my favorite button. other than
And
laser.
with this, we can change how the machine is behaving. So with quilting, I would rather pull up my bobbin thread at the beginning and the end and manage my threads differently than traditional embroidery. So we could turn on the quilting settings, which is all those squiggly lines back and forth,
It's definitely the button I would have guessed it to be.
right? Obviously quilting.
Adrian says pew pew for the laser too.
Yes, that's the sound they make. And we have one more thing we can change before we start stitching. So in your gears, which is your user settings, and embroidery settings, the squiggly line option, we can change their stitches per inch.
Ooh, so if we wanted something a little bit more loose, we could increase, and something tighter, decrease.
Yeah, so stitches per inch is the less stitches per inch, the longer they'll be.
Mm-hmm.
So this is backwards to stitch length.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, but if you were using a really thick, like a 30 weight quilting cotton to quilt with, you could absolutely make your stitch length longer so that thread lays nicer. If you were using a really fine thread and you wanted those stitches closer together, you could adjust up and down. I think we'll just leave it at the 10 stitches per
Yeah,
inch.
we have isocord, so I feel like average would be a happy ground.
Yeah.
To be today. Perfect.
The other thing that happens when you turn on this quilting thing, it turns off your thread cutter and will allow us to pull up the bottom thread.
Beautiful.
So it is ready to start stitching. So if you want to hang on to that tail on your upper thread.
Okay, I just gotta find that tail first. Should I thread my tail below my foot?
You don't need to,
Okay.
because you can do a needle up, needle down on the top of the machine.
Oh, it's in the dark spot here. Oh, that was easy. I didn't even have to hit it twice. It just did it. Oh. Now, should I thread my thread down below the foot?
You definitely could.
Because then I won't get tangled?
Yeah.
And then find out later that I stitched my foot to my project?
Ask you how you know.
You don't want to know. All right, are we ready to rumble?
Yep.
So I'm just loosely holding my threads.
Yep.
So I didn't tug on my needle.
Then right now the machine is set to pause. So if you wanted to trim those tails right now, you could. If you're more of a bury the threads and deal with them later, like bury them in the thread, I would just leave them.
Honestly, I always thought I was, quilt in the hoop and then bury my threads later kind of person, but I realized I'm not. I'm a hack it off as I go.
Me too.
The laser is amazing for applique. That's a great idea, Chris. Love this feature with my machine.
Wish my machine had it.
Oh, wish my machine had it. Sorry, I'm trying to read from really far away.
Yeah.
Apparently my eyes aren't that great today.
So I'm just gonna, maybe we'll rearrange the camera ever so slightly.
Do you want to change so we don't motion sick? There we go. Nailed it.
So the BQM files, I know OESD is producing some quilting files with BQM options in there, so you could load those. There are long-arm digitizing companies that are producing BQM files. And if you have software like Art and Stitch or Bernina Designer 9, you should be able to create a BQM file.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you could create your own custom quilting designs on your software and then quilt them. So say you were making a Star Wars blanket and you needed that little emblem that I don't know what it's called, but you needed that.
Yep.
You could make it in your software.
Potentially, yeah.
Cool.
And then quilting's pretty quick. Like, this is just going to take 2 minutes to stitch out.
I'm just watching the accuracy and loving it because
Can you quilt feathers that nicely?
I can't quilt feathers that nicely, but I really love how they're coming just up to the edge of that half square triangle and not going over because we marked those 2 corner points. And it's just stitching it so precisely over that. I like it. That really makes me happy.
If you wanted this to stitch a little faster, you could turn the bunny rabbit on screen, but for 2 minutes of watching it go, it's pretty manageable.
Yeah, I really love watching quilting happen. I don't know why.
This is magic.
Maybe it's like when Tyler really enjoyed watching Anne sew the rope bowl on, I think it was 5 times speed or something. And it was just a super fast rope bowl making. And he thought it had a lot of ASMR. This is Quilter's ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you love the perfection of free motion that's done really well, but you don't necessarily have the skills, this might be the way for you to finish your quilts.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I could never make feathers this pretty. That's for sure. Maybe if I practiced it a long time, but I have too many quilts to make to sit there.
I just don't enjoy making feathers enough to practice.
Me neither.
It's not my thing.
I wanted to say that, but I was like, should I?
They're not my thing. I'm not a feather person. There's lots of other quilting motifs that I enjoy more, so I focus more on those.
But if my machine was willing to make me feathers this nice, I would put feathers on my quilts. Oh, fabulous. Okay, so it did not cut because we turned on quilting mode.
Yeah. So now you could do a needle up, needle down, where it is in the middle of the quilt there.
Do I have to hit finish first?
You might.
There we go. Whee!
And you might be able to pull up a loop of bobbin thread and trim.
Oh, I did! Oh, look at it go. And then I'm just going to trim my fold and not both of them off. So I could bury my threads.
Yeah.
If I was a thread barrier,
Yeah.
I'd probably go longer than that, but...
And you might also want to trim one of your upper threads.
Oh, yeah, that might be an option. Otherwise, I'll just be attached to my machine.
Yes.
Take it home with me. Oops,
Yeah.
sorry, I was attached. All right, now we're good to free it.
Yep.
Okay. So just going under. And we're just going to do the opposite of what I did earlier to free it.
Fast.
And just moving carefully across my foot.
There you go. That block quilted, and then you would just carry on,
That was really fun.
right?
Do we have more quilts to do? Could we finish that quilt off?
Well, we probably can, but maybe we should let the lovely people,
Probably should. I just had a really good time.
right? So, the Morph feature makes it super easy to get that 4-point corner accuracy, and the laser,
It's precise.
it's
I
fabulous.
love it.
Right. I really like how that works out.
And with the jumbo bobbin, you know, you can't go wrong.
You can quilt a
Because-
big quilt before you run out of thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, if you got the hang of this, you could move this up and reclamp further along without taking it all the way off your machine. So
Beautiful.
you've got some options,
I
but
love
only if
options.
you acquire yourself a 790 Pro.
Yes.
Minor
true.
details.
Minor details. Yep.
But there are some very cool pinpoint placement features on lots of other Bernina machines as well. So we can help you out. So if you did get a new machine from us and you haven't signed up for an owner's class, you might want to, because these are the sorts of things we'll talk about. You give you hands-on experience with.
Yes. And it's fun to do it in class.
Yeah.
Because sometimes trying those new features can be scary.
And it's really hard to describe over Zoom which button you hit to get where you are.
But when you're here, it might give you a little nudge to hit the button.
Right. That's what we're here
Hit
for.
the button. Hit the button.
Yes.
Please.
So thanks for joining us today. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button on YouTube and you'll get notifications of when we go live. And we look forward to seeing you another day. Take care, everybody.
Bye.